what do I think happened to Dinah in Genesis chapter 34? And this, I asked my husband, and we both have our thoughts, but this is kind of the conclusion of the matter. You see that this man was a prince of a country, and he saw her, and he took her, and he defiled her. And this reminds me of Sarah and Abraham, and how when they went into a country, he told her that she's my sister, because he knew that in that culture, they would just take beautiful women for themselves. So just kind of keep that cultural mindset in there, that it was common for a prince to just take a pretty woman as his wife or his concubine. Number 2, it says he lay with her and defiled her, and he slept with her before marriage. And so that was just one of it, that he slept with her before marriage. He slept with Jacob's daughter, which he knew ought not to be done. And he asked them if they would make marriages with them, if Jacob's family would make marriages with the princes of that country. And he was very excited about it. So he knew that what he was doing was not acceptable in that culture, even though, it was very relativistic to them. He wanted that honor. And so he wanted to make her his wife after he had taken her for his concubine. And in verse 19, it says, Shechem was more honorable than all the house of his father. So my third point is that we do have to take into consideration that God considered him more honorable than his other family. And so was he a violent person who forced himself upon this woman, or in his culture was it just acceptable? And point 4, God was discreet. And I do try to not read into what God doesn't deem worthy to say. But I would say that my conclusion is this: in that time, women didn't really have much of a say about what was going to go on with their life. I'm not saying that I approve of that. I'm just acknowledging it, just as the Bible acknowledges a lot of things that happened that he doesn't approve of. And women seem to be treated as property more than as somebody who was loved, which I think is interesting that in this it says that Shechem did actually love her and wanted to marry her. But he did sleep with her before marriage. He stole her, but in his culture that was okay because he was a prince in the land. But none of that sounds as if she was given a choice. Even being given over unto marriage, it wasn't really her choice. And so it's very hard to look at past cultures in light of our current culture. Did he rape her? God didn't deem it worthy to say, but he did acknowledge that none of what he did was okay. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer beyond what God says, but I do trust God's discretion to where I'm not going to put an answer in there because of the fear of the Lord. I don't want to add to what he wouldn't add.